Okay, so to start, we're gonna overlap the green screen and scale it so it fits, and then gonna make the opacity 50 so we can see both of them, and then line them up so the dances match up. And then when you're done overlapping them as best as you can, and then make the opacity for the green screen layers 100, and then add the effect linear color key to one of your green screen layers. You should make your resolution full just so you can see what it'll look like when it's rendered. And then select the green. And then you should also hide this background so you can see if there's a green outline. And if there is, just mess around with the settings until it's gone as much as you can. It doesn't have to be perfectly gone, because if you do too much, then it like starts removing your character. But I normally have it around like 20. Pre-compose all your layers separately. Now we're gonna add velocity. So I have a velocity preset. If you don't know how to make your velocity, then you can go to my other tutorial. I typically just do it on one layer and then hide the other so I can do all the velocity on one, and then I'll copy and paste it onto all the other layers. Okay, once you're done with the velocity, again, pre-compose them separately. First, I normally add a glow around my character, so search up glow, add that, then just mess around with the settings.
So you think it looks good?
And then sometimes I duplicate it, but sometimes it's too much. I think that looks pretty good, so I'll just do that. And then for the top layer, I add bevel, alpha. I do like 3, -45, 1, like that. And then I also add brightness and contrast because the lighting on my character is a little dark. I'll duplicate this again, put it under the glow, and scale it up. Position it up. And then add CC ball action. Do like 3, around 40 to 50. You could either do this and then add like glow. Yep. Or you could add find edges, invert, and right click on your clip, go to blending mode, and then screen, and then add tint, and make it whatever color you want. Do like light blue, and then add glow. Duplicate that a couple times because it doesn't really show up that well. And I sometimes just keep looking at full just to see what it'll actually look like. And then also sometimes for my edits, I just have it like centered like that, which sometimes looks good. I don't really want to do it for this one, but I'm just gonna do CC ball action. Now duplicate your top clip, add turbulence displace, and then amount I do like around 100, size I do like 15. Sometimes I have to make that higher. And then evolution, add a keyframe, go to the end of your clip and make it like 2x. And then add fill, make it white, right click, blending mode overlay. And it adds that little thingy. Sometimes I make it smaller, but it might be hidden behind your character, so just increase the amount. till it pokes out enough. For the background, I like to add a shader, so add the effect shadow. Then make this rendered, then go to shape. You can pick whichever one you want, but I normally do glass. You can leave extrusion to, then force 1, make radius 5, then just see how that looks and adjust it to your liking. And then go to physics, make gravity 0, and then rotation speed like 0.15. Put the strength down if you want to go slower, so it lasts longer when you add your velocity to it. Do like 2.5. And then pre-compose that, double click on the top clip, and copy your velocity settings, and paste it on the shader layer. And sometimes I just like to make it quicker, because it's kind of slow at the start if you just use the same settings. Pre-compose that, and then add drop shadow to your shader layer, just to give it a little depth. And then I like to make it look different under the shader layer, so it looks like something changed and it's not just the same. I do a couple different things sometimes. You could add grid, and then pre-compose your layer. Add a rotation keyframe. Oh, zoom in first. And then add your rotation. Don't do too much, because then it'll just take away from the rest of the edit. And then I normally add overlay, so it just blends in better. And then you could either make the opacity lower, you could add tint to make it black and white, or a different color. I could do blue. Also for the shader layer, I just realized you should add glow, and make sure you change behind to on top. And then I like to add particles, so add a solid layer. So you see ball action, and then fill. Make it whatever color you want. I'm just gonna do white. And then move scatter all the way to the right until you can't go anymore. And then just adjust this to your liking. I'll do these settings. And then shading, you can either keep it just adds a little shade around the edges. And then add glow. Could add it a couple times just so it shows up better. Okay, I'm changing the fill. So like that, yeah. Okay, I added all the effects to my second clip, so I'm gonna show you how to do a little line around your avatar. Okay, duplicate your first clip, remove the effects, and then add a little line. I normally like it where it crosses over my avatar 2 times so I can make it look like it's going around. Okay, so something like that. And then cut it at where you want to start. Add the effect saber. You do need the saber plugin for this, but it is free. Go to customize core. Core type, make it layer masks. And then right click, blending mode, screen. If you want to make it less bright, just make the spread lower, but then it's like really bright here. So make the core size smaller. I'll just do those settings. And then go over here and add a keyframe for start offset. Make it 100, or whenever it's just off the screen. And then go up to where you want it to end and make it 0. And go like a little bit past the first keyframe and add a keyframe for end offset. Make it end at the same time and make end offset 0. Or actually maybe don't make it end at the same time. And then add easy ease. Yeah, do something like that. Adjust the end size, because then it'll look like a tail. And then you can add velocity if you want. I'm not gonna. Pre-compose. And then press this little button right here under the star thingy. And then go to a point in your clip where you can see that the line's going over your character twice. Like right here and right here. Unless you didn't do that, it doesn't matter. And then go up here, press the box. Okay, and then do a mask. Make sure you get all the way to the edge on both sides. And only have one of the places where it goes over your character in the box. And then duplicate. Press invert right here, or inverted. and then add blending mode screen for both, and then put one of the layers underneath your character and one of them above it. And then another effect you can do is where a ton of particles come out of your character. So duplicate this. There's the effects. Add CC ball action. Cut it so it's right at where you want the effect to start. Add a keyframe for scatter. And then go out like that. Then add another keyframe that's 0 and put that at the end of your clip. Easy ease. And then scatter motion, and go to the last keyframe and make it like 100. I don't know. I'm gonna increase it a little bit more. You can adjust the ball size if you want. I'm just gonna do like that. And shading, gonna make 0. And then add glow. And then put the bevel alpha under the brightness so it doesn't affect that. Pre-compose. Sometimes I add CC force motion blur to make them have motion blur because it looks smoother. Okay, and it'll look something like this. And then I'm gonna duplicate the first clip, add fill, make this white, cut it right here, duplicate it first, and then add position keyframes to both, drag it out like that, and then go in the middle of the two keyframes and have one go out that way, one go out that way. Doesn't really matter which goes which way. And then go a little bit past 9 and put them back to what they were before. If you don't remember, you can just align them. And then easy ease, cut the clips so they end wherever they ended. And then do some graphs where the peak goes right on the marker. It should look something like this. Add glow to both. You can have fill if you want, but I kind of want to do find edges, invert screen, and then it'll look like that. And also add tint, and you can make it whatever color you want. I'm probably just gonna have like light blue or white actually, and then duplicate your glow. Yeah, something like that, and then copy those settings and paste them here. And change this also to screen. I'm gonna add a little fade in on them because without it, they just like randomly show up. And you can add motion blur if you want. I'm gonna duplicate this and add motion tile. Make the output width like 1000. Make sure it starts where you want it to start. And then position, just keep moving that. This just, with the motion tile, it just adds multiple. Like that, and then just line it up as best as you can, doesn't really matter. And then end it at where the keyframe ends. Graph. I'm also gonna add a fade in like I did before. I think that's all I'm gonna add for my masking effects. You just have to complete your edit with like flashes, shakes, other effects, all that stuff.
It's time for Duolingo. Yo como, shut up! Yo como, tu comes, el come. Oh, okay. The girl, la mina. Yo bebo, tu bebes, el bebe.